Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility, the show where we talk about lots of cool new releases in the worlds of progressive rock, all forms of heavy metal, hard rock, jazz fusion, classic rock. We cover all sorts of stuff here on the channel. Today, we're going to take a look at a band who's only been around for maybe about 20 years, maybe just under 20 years, or about 20 years, I think. They kind of formed in the very late 90s, right at the beginning of the 2000s. From Norway, Gazpacho. Their new album here in 2020 is called Fireworker on KScope Records. Can you believe these guys have 11 studio albums already? It seems to me like yesterday when their first album, Bravo, came out. I can remember it like very distinctly and thinking, oh, this is a pretty cool band. You know, love bands from Scandinavia, all that kind of stuff. Another kind of like atmospheric neo-prog type of band. They have that kind of like ambient thing going pretty well. And then you blink, and here we are in 2020, and they've got 11 releases already. It's like crazy. Anyway, let's take a look at this CD. So we got the very striking kind of weird green pastiche with the, two red dots there, which could be eyes, could be a mouth right here. So it's one of those pictures you got to take a real close look at. What is it, like a centipede or a, caterpillar or something? It's kind of what it looks like to me. But open it up, and you got more of the artwork on the inside. Quite a lot of these green tones. You got lyrics. Let me see if we got a picture of the band here. I don't remember if we do. I don't think so. No picture of the guys in the band, but that's okay. And there's the back. All right, not a lot of tracks on here. We got 5 tracks in total. I think the CD clocks in at like 50 or 53 minutes. We've got in the band currently right now, and I'm hoping I say all these names correctly, John Enrique Ome, okay, otherwise known as O, founding member, vocalist. You got John Arne Vilbo on guitars, programming. Another guy's been around since the beginning, and it looks like they're actually formed technically in 96, so we're looking at over 20 years in their existence. Thomas Anderson on keyboards and programming. Mikael Kromer on violin, additional guitars and programming. Christian Torp, otherwise known as Fido, on bass guitar, and Robert Johansson on drums and percussion. And most of these guys have been with the band for either they are founding members or have been with the band since the early 2000s. So pretty rock solid lineup. So back to the album here. So I will say they got 11 albums. I probably only honestly heard maybe 4 of them, maybe 5, if that. Their last was Soyuz in 2018. They released Moloch in 2015, Demon in 2014, March of Ghost in 2012, Missa Atropos in 2010, so in TikTok in 2009. So they're, it's like boom, 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 almost every year. I don't think they've ever gone more than 2 years between releases. It doesn't really look that way. So, or 3 years at one point. But so that's pretty prolific. So what do we got here? So we've got 5 tracks, all fairly lengthy. Space Cowboy, Hourglass, title track Fireworker, Antique, and Sapien. I will say if you kind of gravitate towards bands like Anathema, maybe a little bits of Radiohead, maybe a little bit of Pineapple Thief, although not quite as like kind of bubbly and bouncy as that. The more sedate, subdued elements of Porcupine Tree or Steven Wilson's work. Maybe the moodier stuff of Flying Colors. That's kind of what you get here. This is not very upbeat stuff, or at least this album isn't. It's not overly complicated, complex, time signature type of progressive rock. This is more kind of atmospheric, ambient, chilling, melodic, soaring vocal harmonies, very catchy in spots, lots of cool kind of soothing keyboards. It's not a riffy type band, so the guitar work is a little more sublime. All right. Space Cowboy, which opens up the album, is very, very cool. Hourglass I like quite a bit. Probably my favorite song here is Sapien, the closing song, which is 12, 15 minutes long, something like that. It's pretty lengthy. But all the songs are very pleasing to listen to. I find the issue I have with this album, that I've had with pretty much everything I've heard from this band is that I kind of always waiting to hear them kick it up another notch. And I know that's not really their thing, so I get it. And it's kind of, I didn't mention Marillion before, but also like modern day Marillion or Marillion over the last 20 years, very similar in kind of format here. The band kind of like ambles along and drifts along in this kind of glowing, like I said, atmospheric kind of path. And that's kind of where they lie most of the time. And that's fine. I know a lot of people really dig that. I mean, here's the thing. It's like this band and a lot of other bands that are kind of like it are not really what I gravitate towards personally. But when I listen to this band, all I can say to myself is, wow, I can totally see the appeal of this music to more of like a mass audience. And that's the thing. So it doesn't really, when you're doing a review on something that doesn't really click with you, like perhaps in this case, it's not about me here. It's about, can I hear in this music some really good stuff that I think a lot of people would like. Not just what Pete Pardo would like, okay? But I definitely hear stuff in Gazpacho's music that I think if the masses would check out a song or two, they'd be like, you know what? I like that. The vocals are really cool. Vocals are really melodic, very soothing. Like I say, kind of floating in a way. The arrangements are very soothing and just really, really kind of alluring is kind of the word I'm looking for. They just kind of like, they drop in and kind of hook you in little by little and take you along for this ride. It's almost like you're on this, you're on a kayak on a fairly, not too busy, but not too slow stream or canal. And just kind of like moving down. You're taking in the sights, you're taking in the crisp air, and you're just enjoying the ride. That's kind of like what you get with Gazpacho. All right. They're not this big, bombastic, complex prog rock band. All right. They sit back a little bit more, a little more introspective, a little more airy, a little more atmospheric. There's lots of good things going on here, but it's not that whole, I want to be wowed by just tremendous musical virtuosity. It's not what they're about. They're more about creating all these moods and textures and lots of really interesting, melodies that kind of catch your ear and you're like, oh, that's kind of nice. I like that. Right. So, in saying all that, as you probably can guess, I like this. I'm not a huge fan of it, but that's just me. I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of folks out there that will like this. Okay, so take my word for that. Don't so much go by whether this is something that Pete Pardo will listen to every day, but more as, well, it's not really Pete's thing, but he's explained a lot of reasons why it might be my thing. I'm not talking about me, talking about you. So I would say give this a chance. If you're already a fan, you're going to love it. Like I said, I don't hear a lot of major differences to other Gazpacho albums I've heard in the past. But it's a good listen. It's a fun listen. It's a nice listen. All right. And if you like music that's going to kind of calm your nerves a little bit and take you on a little journey where you just close your eyes, maybe put the headphones on and just like go to another place for 50 odd minutes and just forget everything else that's going on. And it's not so challenging where you have to every second be like, oh, did you hear that little thing? Did you hear that little thing? Don't have to do that with this album. And I think that's the beauty of it. So I'm going to give this, if I was rating this on the website, I would easily give this a 4 out of 5. Okay, because I think it's a good listen. It's a really good album. Like I said, it doesn't really matter whether it's something that I'm going to love and listen to for months on end. It doesn't really matter. I know the qualities here. I can see all the reasons why a lot of people will like this, and I think it deserves to be heard by many people. So, Fireworker from Gazpacho from Norway. It seems like we're talking a lot about Norway and Scandinavia these days, right? So, if you love the new Wobbler, this doesn't sound anything like it, but it's another cool progressive rock release from that country, from Norway, that I think you should check out, and it's on KScope Records. So visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up, hopefully over the next day, 2 or 3, we've got reviews of the new Joe Bonamassa called Royalty. We've got reviews of the new Arion called Transitus, and reviews of the new Bruce Springsteen Letter to You. In addition, All right. In addition, not like that's not enough, we've got Thursday night. We've got 2 episodes of The Monsters Den coming up. One with Rich Catino, one with Chris Allo. Rich Catino and I will be looking at some classic films from Wes Craven. And Chris and I will be talking about each, recommending 3, that's right, triple features, 2 triple features, 3 cool kind of supernatural horror films from the 80s. So stay tuned for all that coming up this week. And then, there's more than that. That's just what I'm talking about right now. So stay tuned. I might as well throw it out there now. So we've got some great interviews happening tomorrow. So tomorrow we are talking to Roy Stalt from the Flower Kings about their new album, Islands. And I'm also talking to the legend, one of the best drummers of all time, Mr. Simon Phillips. Guy's involved in everything these days. So Simon's coming on the show to talk a little bit about what's new in Simon Phillips land. So I can't wait for both of those. So stay tuned, and we'll see you all real soon, right? So check us out on the website. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And make sure, if you like what you see here, help us out. Click on the Ko-Fi link below and buy us a tea, a coffee, a pint of beer, a CD, whatever it is you can do. Greatly appreciated. The link to our merch site is up there as well. We got some new designs coming up, so stay tuned for all that. And we got the big Sea of Tranquility Fall Festival coming up in about a week and a half. There's going to be a lot more. You're going to hear about that over the coming days. So that will be a live broadcast on November the 21st in the evening. It's going to be broadcast live on YouTube and on our Facebook page. And we've got over 20 artists that are going to be appearing with various cool videos and things like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's coming up soon. It's all for charity, all for the Humane Society as they help us all out through COVID. Okay, so stay tuned for all this. A lot more info coming up in the coming days. So you'll hear more about it and all the particulars, all right? So stay tuned. We'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye.